Hey folks, welcome to science. It's day 2 of these lessons. Excuse me, I apologize. If you have not seen day 1, make sure you let the guest teacher know to go back to day 1. But if you've already seen day 1 with me, you need to finish day 2 now. So, day 2 kind of carries off where we left off on the last class. A reminder of due dates for both homework as well as vocabulary quiz. And the lesson's basically going to focus on finishing up the stratification of the atmosphere. That's the mesosphere and the thermosphere, meteorites and auroras, as well as a little bit of the interview. So let's get going on this. Vocabulary. As always, we take care of using the vocab puzzle timer on that. So you want to open up the screen for the online stopwatch, hit that, and you want to count up. And when everyone's ready, you can run the puzzle. 2 times should be sufficient, so everyone should be looking to show improvement on this, okay? So that takes care of the vocab puzzle. I'll let the guest teacher go and do that at this point, and when you're done, come on back to the video. Alright, so we're back here, and students, we've already tackled both the troposphere and the stratosphere. That leaves us with now a discussion on the mesosphere. So, mesosphere. It is basically brought up as being the distance of 30 to 50 miles, and that runs right here. You want to put this into your notes, 30 to 50. Alright, as I was saying, the mesosphere runs 30 to 50 miles in thickness. It is obviously above the stratosphere. The temperature, however, decreases in elevation in this zone, so it actually gets pretty chilly as we further up in the altitude in the atmosphere, if you will. The coldest part, negative 226 degrees Fahrenheit. A little chilly up there. The layer where planes start to stop flying and where spaceships start to stop orbiting. Basically, we've run into a point now where there's just not enough air for an airplane to fly, and there's enough air to slow a spaceship or a satellite down with friction and causing it to fall back to Earth. So it's a layer where the planes stop and the spaceships start to fall. Now, below that, we also see meteors are usually taken care of at this point. They begin and finish burning up in this zone. Like I mentioned before, you start to experience a little bit more air at the tail, very bottom of the mesosphere. And so that air interacts with the meteor, causing it to heat up and burn up as it experiences a lot of friction. Mesos, by Greek Latin definition, means middle. So it's a layer between the stratos and the thermos. So you can pause the video here to finish getting the notes. Thank you much. Alright, so the notes are finished being collected, at which point it's time to observe this YouTube video. Guest teacher, please go ahead and run it. It's a great video of a Russian meteorite that landed a year or 2 ago. Alright, next up, thermosphere. So, the thermosphere. What would I recommend in this? Well, the title of it, being 50 to 90 to 120 miles in thickness. The temperature, however, increases with elevation, but it should be with a caveat that the temperature, while each particle may be getting warmer, because the particles are so far apart from each other, it actually is really, really chilly to the experience if you were to be up there. So please note that the particles can get as warm as 3,600 degrees. Where the particles can literally start to ionize, and that does go and cause an interesting experience. These ionized particles reflect radio waves back to Earth and block incoming radio waves from out in space. So the ionized particles that were ionized because they're so hot up here reflect the radio waves back to Earth. Now this is a benefit in the next slide. You'll see in a moment. Usually we keep our satellites at this level so that they can send the signals back to Earth. That's your cell phone and your TV satellites and all other communication satellites. And by definition, the word thermos means heat. It's the heat layer, which is kind of ironic, like I said before, because while the particles may be so warm, they could be on the order of hundreds of yards apart from each other. So they're just so far away that you don't get to feel the heat of that one particle because there's such huge space between you and the particles. You might want to go and pause this video so students can get these notes. Alright, nice little picture here. Now, auroras. We're going to chat about auroras right now. They are found in both North and South Pole regions. The auroras do occur, so we'll say auroras occur at the polar regions. There's the aurora borealis and the aurora australis. It's not important that you know those names, but it's kind of cool to hear that there's one named after Australia. They occur at or near the thermosphere, and what is mixing is the solar wind from the sun, which is a combination of gases, and it's beginning to interact with both the magnetosphere and the thermosphere. Now, we haven't talked about the magnetosphere, but understand that that's basically the magnetic field that surrounds the Earth, protecting it from the solar winds. But because the solar winds find their way towards the poles, and you'll see in the next image, that mixing of solar winds at the poles with the thermosphere, you get some really interesting colors. In fact, oxygen causes yellow to green, and nitrogen causes the blue. So I'm going to ask the teacher to pause here so you can get your notes in. And now that you're done with the pause, we can go and clear this out and check out some pictures here. So as I was mentioning before, here's your solar winds, and mind you, not drawn to scale. The sun is not this close. It'd be a really bad day on planet Earth. But these solar winds carrying all these gases interact with our magnetic field, which is shown here in pink. And you'll notice that the solar winds interact, and they only interact at the polar region where the field starts to kind of begin and end, if you will. So the magnetic field is where it's beginning and ending at the North and the South Pole magnetically, is where you get your interactions, and you get these amazing colors here. Beautiful, beautiful yellows and greens and blues. I'd also make mention of a video clip down here. You might have to copy this link to go and get it to work. It doesn't seem to work at home. But once you get it open, it's a Vimeo of the aurora borealis time-lapse. It's beautiful, beautiful stuff. All right, so here we are finishing up with auroras, and now I should mention the interview questions. So, interview questions. What I recommend the guest teacher do is open up the OB2 worksheet, which can be found on the screen under day 2, right here. You open that up. It's going to look like this, and I'm going to leave it like this where students can go and observe questions 1 and 2 and walk through these questions here. But basically, folks, I recommend that you read them and get them onto your interview questions. Now, where do you have these interview questions? They're found over in the blue folder in the OB2 folder. Somebody may need to tear them in half. It's half sheets of paper. You want to use that. At which point, everybody can go over and discuss these. You're going to note there's 1, 2, skip down to 4, skip down to 5 and 6. Pause these, obviously. And number 8 right there. So make sure students get all this information before you continue on. I'm back in the video here, the PowerPoint. And yeah, that's all, folks. That's all number day 2. Okay? So, next up is tree period. And tree period for day 2. It's going to look like this. You're going to turn in your, finish your homework planners and assignment planners. SSR for 10 minutes. The daily assignment is the MCAS number 2 worksheet. Unfortunately, we did not finish Jurassic Park, so students want to finish Jurassic Park, which is in the DVD player. You want to use the orange cone for that. After which point, the next up is called The Island. It's found in the case that's mixed DVDs. And then students are going to obviously need to turn in their movie review sheet and get a new movie review sheet. Both the MCAS number 2 and the movie review sheets can be found over in the tree folder, which is on the table. And that's going to be it. Thanks a lot.